Okay, ladies and gents, welcome back to FTRL. It's been a very, very long time since you've heard my voice, but we are bringing you a brand new chapter this evening. It is Gran Turismo Sport, and it's our second division. This is their debut race this evening. We've got plenty of stuff to talk about, plenty of familiar names on track, and joining me is my old protege. I think I can call him that, probably quite fairly. It's Pagani. Good evening, mate.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I suppose 8 o'clock in the afternoon, is it? But hey,
well, we're halfway there, aren't we? But we just, yeah, I think we're all rock and roll ready to go. So, plenty of things to talk about. So, this is a bit of you, this, isn't it, Gran Turismo? This is your thing.
It's sort of my baby.
It is. It certainly is. Well, plenty of things to go through. So, as some of you will already know, I mean, we'll go through the drivers and the action very soon. We'll just get some proceedings and pleasantries out of the way first of all. So obviously this is, we're now entering our 7th season of Gran Turismo. Obviously we've been very successful up until now. Over the last couple of seasons it's got much better. Obviously we're going to have regular commentary now for GT2 and GT1, which will be the names of the leagues. And yeah, so it's the first ever round of our second division tonight, so this is a completely brand new division. Most of the drivers are brand new to the game, and yeah, so it's going to be entertaining and also quite interesting because we don't really know too much about all the drivers at this stage. So obviously first of all the tracks are the Red Bull Ring for the Group 4 races, and the Group 3 race that follows this will be at Fuji. So there should be quite familiar tracks to most of the people watching this evening. Pagani, do you want to give us a quick run through of how the racecraft is going to work tonight and how the races are going to go and what they're currently doing, etc.?
So currently we have a qualifying session which is 12 minutes, which decides the grid for race 1 obviously. So whatever tyre you start the session on is the tyre you will be starting the race on. So there is a little bit of strategy involved in qualifying. Obviously you want to go for the quicker tyre to get you towards the front later on in the session, but qualifying's qualifying, fastest is quickest. That made no sense, but hey ho, we'll run with it.
First line of the season for Pagani, fastest is quickest. Thank you.
So then we move into the first race, which is a Group 4 race, which today is on the Red Bull Ring. This will be a 25-minute race. We'll tend to have 1, maybe 2 pit stops in there, depending on tyre wear. Any tyre is available to use. Again, it's not so much strategy based the first race, it's just pace and what you can save fuel wise, but I think with this being brand new, I don't know who's going to be where this season. It's going to be definitely mixed up. It's not going to be one person leading the way all the way through. And then after that we have a reverse grid race. So the finishing positions from this race will then be reversed for race 2. So whoever finishes last will start first. And in that race it's a 40-minute race with 3 mandatory types of tyre. So you have to use the super softs and the mediums, and that makes it a designated 2-stop race at a minimum. You can do 3 stops if you want, but yeah, look, it's all about how you're going to utilise your strategy. Do you run your own race or try and run with others, save a bit of fuel in? It's very much like what GT have implemented themselves in their manufacturer races. However, we're trying to encompass a lot more things into a smaller bracket. So.
Oh, we definitely are. Yeah, perfectly put, mate. So, yeah. So, cut a long story short, the Group 4 races, like obviously the gentlemen are all driving in now. As you see, Max taking a bit of a trip to the gravel. So they do have a qualifier for this one, like Pagani just mentioned. So slipstream, things like that are crucial in qualifying. We've seen that happen in last season's Gran Turismo League in our top division. Obviously we've seen some cars like the Mazda and whatnot which are not renowned for being particularly fast, but during qualifying, if you can find a decent slipstream, you can get a good result out of it. So it purely is down to how you manage the tyres, the cars themselves, the traffic around you. There's so much stuff to look at. So I think it's probably a good time for us to go through and have a quick check-in with each and every one of our drivers that we've got. So representing the Aston Martin team is currently this man we're on board with. We're all familiar with him. Most will frown upon that idea, but it's a way of life, unfortunately. It's onto the podium, and he will be joined by Zombie. So both of those guys are brand new to the game, and looking forward to having a pretty good season among them. So fingers crossed they can have a good season between them, and yeah, well, let's see what they're going to do. So Aston Martin, obviously me and you, Pagani, and GT1 will be driving these cars next season. So we've only got 5 minutes to quickly scoot for every driver. So just a quick word on the Aston. What have you found so far with it?
Aston is a very capable car. It doesn't really excel in one specific area, but it's not really bad in any areas either, so it will be up there at every single race.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in the Hyundai we've actually got Tom, who's not here tonight, unfortunately, due to personal reasons. But his teammate is Slav King Robbo, or Robo, I think he said. But we're just going to call him Robbo because it makes everything so much easier. He'll probably have a go at me for saying that. I think he wants to be called Robo, but it's just too much effort for me. So he's in the Hyundai, which is not renowned for being a particularly great car. We had a couple of the guys drive it last season in the way of Junkie Sport and Michael C, who didn't like it too much, but hopefully, you know, these guys can find a bit more pace this season in that. Moving on to the Lexus, we've got an FTRL. We don't really want to call him a legend, but he's a bit of an OG, isn't he, for the league, Lennon.
By OG we mean old gimp. No.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, old gimp. So he's driving his Kit Kat car, currently on pole position in the Lexus, which is going to be a very strong car this season. And then his teammate is Dark Bolt, so who's currently... did he leave the room? Or has he exited? I think he's exited. I think his time's been null and void, but he's currently actually got the fastest lap, but he's not currently out on track. So yeah, these two should be very, very quick between them. Dark Bolt, in my opinion, is probably the early pre-season favourite for the league. If I had to put money on somebody to win it, it would be Dark Bolt. So let's see what he can do. Moving on to the Mazda, we have got Unsafe Release, who's currently in P5. The Group 4 Mazda is really, really difficult car to drive, but if you can manage it properly, you can certainly find some time in there somewhere. And his teammate is going to be Ross, who's in this lovely sort of teal coloured Atenza. So I don't know whether that was out of choice, but we're going to roll with it anyway. Good old Ross. But no,
you've got a bit of a soft spot for that car, haven't you?
I do. I love that car so much. I do really, really like the Atenza. The Group 3 car is, I mean, since Gran Turismo was released and we started doing GT Sport in FTRL, I was saying to you, please let me drive the Atenza, and I finally managed to get it. So, happy days. The Mercedes boys, we've got the infamous Goy Karp, who is unfortunately not able to join us tonight, and his teammate, the Belgian wonder kid, who's not actually a kid, is Max, who's probably intoxicated at this point of the evening, but he'd be having a good time doing it. So. Yeah,
he's enjoying himself, so that's all that counts.
Exactly right. 3 minutes after qualifying, so I've got 3 more teams to go through. So we've got the Nissans of PB Racing, who is currently in P2 in his lovely white livery there, and then you've got Cornelius, his teammate, who's currently in P3. So these boys are starting well by the looks of things in the Nissan. That should be a
capable car.
It certainly is. It certainly is. Then we've got the two Nexus chaps of Nexus Cats and Nexus Iceman. Can't get rid of these two, but we love them dearly. We probably shouldn't say that too loud, it might boost their egos, and I don't need that anymore. But no, best of luck to those boys this season. And finally we have the Toyota gang of Co-Andy, who's currently doing a little bit of charity work on the grass, and FTRL Switchback, who's in, unfortunately, not a self-designed car. He's pinched that one, which is I automatically going to deduct him 10 points for that for this current season. So, but no. So in terms of the teams, Pagani, who's standing out to you as potential early season favourites? Obviously, everyone's in a different manufacturer. We'll go into that more as the race goes on. But
I mean, I'm going to go Team Lexus because I've known Lennon for a long time. So if I don't, he'd probably be upset. So.
Yeah. Of course. Well, we've got 14 people watching at the moment, so thank you all very, very much indeed. Yeah, so we've got people like, so we've got FTRL Panda's in there, Blue Flag's in there, Lee Cole's in there, Agent Panda, Zom, everybody's in here tonight. Hijacks, what cars are available to drive? It's a manufacturer's division, mate. We will go through that as the race goes on. It's all a bit information overload at the moment, so we've got the pleasantries out the way. So currently on pole position is PB Racing because Darkbolt is no longer. I think he rejoined the room, but I think he's having some internet troubles.
If you rejoin and call it, you will not be entered into the race.
No, you won't. So, yeah,
he's going to miss race 1.
Yeah, so it's 2 points for pole position. So PB Race at the moment is up by half a second, with Lennon in P2. Nexus Cats has jumped up to P3, so he's had a little bit of GT experience racing with us last season in GT1, and he's now brought that over with him as well. Cornelius is currently in P4, so both the Nissans going very well indeed. Co-Andy in P5, knows the track well, very reliable driver is Co-Andy, just needs a little bit of time to adapt to the game, I think. Onto the podium in P6, go on, sorry, go on.
Andy knows the track very well. He's not so well up on GT Sport, he's very new to it, but I mean, he's looking like he's got pace. He's currently on the softs. And
is he?
He's 5th, yes.
Oh, very nice. Well, wish him the best of luck. Onto the podium in P6, and he's just ahead of his rival, should I say, FTRL Switchback. Those two have formed a bit of a rivalry that we have to promote this season. Unsafe Release down in P8. It's just coming around the final corner. Can he improve on his time? We're about to see. He's going to avoid a penalty there. He's going to cross the line, and he's going to do a 1:36.8, which is going to put him in 2nd place in the Atenza. That's a very good time indeed. And Cornelius has just beaten that. So, Nexus Iceman in.
Switchback will be the last person to set a lap.
He will, yeah, last person to cross the line. So, Nexus Iceman coming down in 9th, Ross in P10. He's had a bit of a nightmare. Zombie down in 11th, Max in 12th, and Robbo down in 13th place. Unfortunately, there's not a nicer way to skip through sort of the... I suppose he's giving us a flash there, but there's not a nicer way to flick through in between drivers and whatnot, and you only really get the interval times between the car in front and behind the one you're watching. So we'll try our best to have as much action on track as possible, probably stay the closest battle like we do in F1. So it's quite new to us trying to adapt to all of this as well, so please bear with us, but keep the comments coming in. Zom's in them with a hashtag team pissed up. I'm supporting Lennon and Max. That's the way to do it.
Tom's already the best Belgian driver in FTRL regarding Max, so
yes,
he doesn't see much of his teammate Rob this season. So
well, there we go. Right, I'm going to go on board with FTRL Switchback. Max is
very wide through the flash again.
Yeah, Max is on the 2nd beer. He's just put in the chat, so he's having a good time. Switchback coming around the penultimate corner, takes a nice tight line, keeps it nicely together. A little bit of a flash as you go around. He's gone wide. That might be a penalty, but he could be okay. He's going to cross the line, and he's not going to improve. So PB Racing is your man on pole. So yeah, final classifications are 2 Nissans starting on the front row together as we get ready for the race. There is no mandatory tyres in this one, so it is purely a 25-minute sprint race. So we'll keep an eye on the action. You'll see a lot of cars having poor starts, other cars getting great starts. There are so many different factors with these cars, with this manufacturer series that we're doing.
Toyotas are notorious for not starting particularly well.
Yeah, exactly. Right, let's just get all of this up on the go as we are getting ready for lights out in Austria for the first round of GT2 in FTRL's history, and it is lights out, away we go. Looks like the 2 Nissans at the front have had a good start. Onto the podium's not done too bad. I think that's Nexus Cat's going to take a look into turn 1 and onto the podium. We're going to go 3 wide. It all seems pretty sensible so far. Not too much action going on. Nexus Cats onto the podium, fighting side by side up towards turn 2. Nexus Cats with the inside line.
Switchback had a horrendous tight, down to 11th. Toyota.
Yeah, the Toyota not particularly good.
Contact at the front between the 2 Nissans.
Unsafe release with a big lunge. He's done very well to put that Group 4 Atenza where he has. But you'll find the Toyotas will drop towards the back very quickly at the start of every single race. Heading down towards turn 3. There's a little bit of action going on at the back, a little bit of a cluster. Max has given Switchback a good push, and Robbo's gone through. Zombie's going to go up the inside as well in a squabble for last place.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It's all very close. We're only 5 seconds covering the back. So.
Well, there we go. Yeah, Zombie's through. We've got Robbo and Switchback going, having a bit of a tussle. Everyone's shouting, "Come on, Max," in the chat. Switchback going to take a look. He's looking racy behind. Ross and Co-Andy having a squabble for P8 just in front.
Cornelius has got past unsafe release in the penultimate corner, which has made a gap for Lennon at the front. So unsafe release down 2 at the 4th.
Yeah, onto the podium, he's under a bit of pressure. Nexus Cats, some good pace, very good pace.
We've got Subaru Group 4 cars, very nice. It's 4-wheel drive, so it handles very well. It doesn't necessarily have to run the straight line, but
yeah, Nexus Cats does have a 1 second penalty basically. You'll find a lot of corner cut penalties as we go through this. Sometimes not necessarily warranted, some contact penalties the same. The game tends to dish out some penalties, so don't always look at that. Unfortunately, there will always be a lot on the screen, but there's not much we can do about that, I'm afraid. Well, one safe release and Lennon going side by side. The two Nissans are starting to pull away though, Pagani.
And he's had a wiggle coming out of what would be turn 2.
Oh, Lennon and unsafe. Lexus versus Mazda in a straight line. The Lexus should be walking that, but unsafe release is going to take a big lunge as he outbroke himself a little bit. Lennon going for a switchback.
Lennon tried the switchback, just tagged the back of that Mazda.
Not going to make it stick.
He's done what you did with the Lee every single time. Tagged the back, trying to go for a switchback.
Oh yes. Onto the podium as well. There's a little train forming up behind unsafe release. The two Nissans are running away.
They are indeed. I think they're in a party together. So
yeah, they will be. They are good friends, those two.
I mean, if you can work together with your teammate, it does tend to benefit both drivers. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Try telling that to Blue Flag and Panda.
Yeah, don't crash into Will this season, so.
Yeah. Oh, Cornelius looking at his teammate. Going into turn 1. He definitely looks the quicker out of the two at the moment. Are they going to squabble or are they going to just keep pushing each other?
I mean, really don't want to have moved out to turn 1 because it's just acceptable all the way down the straight to turn 2.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, points on offer. So for the sprint race that we're in now, it is so you get points from 1st to 12th in both races.
Oh, Cornelius is very quick in a straight line.
So it is simply 12 points for 1st, 11 for 2nd, 10 for 3rd, all the way down to 12th where you get 1 point. In race 2 it's a little bit different, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Oh, Cornelius had a very poor turn 2, he ran very deep, which has allowed unsafe release at the slipstream bridge.
Yeah, as the Nexus Cats onto the podium going hammer and tong. Nexus Cats is on the super soft tyre. Onto the podium, he's through. Nicely done.
But we've seen on that podium Nexus Cats have some fantastic battles in F1.
Yeah.
So,
the Nexus Iceman lurking just behind. He's a late replacement into the league. And we did actually have an Australian guy who was going to be joining, but then decided to vanish. So Nexus Iceman has come in. I mean, we could all see it coming, really, couldn't we? So the two Nexus boys in an onto the podium bus. That's something that we've carried over from Formula 1. Now, meanwhile, behind we've got FTRL Switchback, who is literally being pushed, yeah, by Ross and by Co-Andy. Now, Andy has a no-second penalty.
I mean, it's good if you can do it.
Yeah, or a bit of contact towards the inside. Ross does run wide, and Andy does go through. But Switchback, the Toyota will be good in the sort of second half of both stints, won't it? In a race, it's very, very good on tyre wear.
Wear its tyres, so not as much. I'm saying that. However, the Subaru of Nexus Iceman has better tyre wear than Toyotas at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly does. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's a couple of arse comms in there. How excited are you for the two divisions this season? Very, very excited indeed. We've been working on this for a good couple of months now, haven't we, Pagani? So we're very pleased. Yeah. So there's been a lot of work gone into it. So it's kind of a bit of nerve-wracking times for us tonight as well, watching all this unfold. We just want it to go smoothly and it to be a good show for everybody.
Ross is fighting back on Andy.
Yeah, just some centre ball with these two. It's a cracking battle. These two will know each other from Formula 1. Andy down the inside, a little bit deep. Ross, lovely move.
The two slowest cars in a straight line.
Yeah. Andy won't like that, being switchbacked. Is he going to take a look down the inside here of Ross? No, he's going to lift off. Let's go a little bit further up the grid onto the podium, still being onto the podium. And now the front two have pulled away.
Tom Smith in the chat, aka T Smith.
Yeah.
Saying drop zone 2, please.
Drop zone 2, yeah. Down an 8th, we'll get into that, I'm sure we will. We have blue flag in there. Arscom's a switchback's tipping point appearance onto his head. I think so, yeah. Doesn't talk to us anymore. Yeah, Zom saying he'd love to do GT Sport, but he can't do 2 nights a week. He is now the FTRL current version of Joe Burns, unfortunately. Oh, PB has run wide. He might get himself a half-second penalty there. Now I want these two to keep fighting. Cornelius has gone through. Oh, a little bit of a bump. Oh, is he going to try it back? Are they going to keep racing? No, they're still squabbling. Lennon and Unsafe Release are still going at it as well in P3.
Chopping and changing every lap at the moment.
Yeah. The two Nexus boys in their white and blue Subaru.
I mean, saying that, one of the podiums gained 7 tenths on the two in front. So,
yeah. Well, we've currently, looking at my phone, we've got 15 people watching this. This is getting close to our F1 numbers, so thank you all very much. 17 minutes to go in race number 1.
Zom says he's no Joe Burns.
Well, let's not get into that now, but you are. Okay. Lennon is all over the back of Unsafe Release. How is Unsafe Release tyres? They're a lot worse than Lennon's, it must be said. If you're looking at, so just to give everybody a bit of a better understanding of what we're seeing and how to kind of refer to it all. So obviously we've got the interval times in the top left corner. To PB in front is 2.6, and then Unsafe Release is what, 0.08 of a second behind. The red gap plus 3.3 is his gap to the lead, so that kind of helps. And then looking down in the bottom left hand corner where it's got RS, that means he's on racing soft tyres. And if we go to Nexus Cats, RSS is racing super soft, so you can always tell what tyres people are on. Obviously the red bit is how worn the tyres are, then you've got the fuel next to it as well, and that's probably the only thing to really keep an eye on. And you've got the track map in the top right hand corner, so we can kind of keep an eye on everything that's going on.
Well, on the podium was gained another half-second on the two in front.
Yeah, he's
soft tyres with better tyre wear. So
have the Hijack Games, do any of the links have the F-Type? No, we did last season, and unfortunately with the manufacturer series that we do, we've made a list of about 14 cars to pick from, or 14 manufacturers to pick from, obviously all of them that have got a Group 4 and a Group 3, and we tried to pick the ones that are as evenly balanced as possible, but the Jaguar and the Porsche last season were a little bit too overpowered compared to the rest of them, so that's the reason why we've ejected them this season and gone down to just 11 or 12 choices, I believe it was. So yeah,
I mean, Max might be on his second beer, but he's currently sitting P11.
yeah, he's doing okay, certainly is. Ross and Iceman, Ross and Switchback are stuck together. Andy has dropped off slightly. I think he might have had a bit of a moment somewhere on the super softs on the Toyotas. These two still going at it together. The two Nexus boys, I think they're quite comfortable sitting there. I would watch out for these two later on in the race. Nexus Iceman, like I said, deserves a little bit of credit because he's done absolutely no practice. He came into the league as a full-time driver literally last minute, so I was expecting him to be right towards the back, with all due respect to him, but he's driving very well tonight, so credit to him for that.
Well, I'm just having a quick look. Nexus Cats compared to Iceman is using the tyres a lot more, but is saving more fuel. So.
Yeah. Well, these front two are losing time to Lennon. Lennon's gained about 7 tenths on them, so an Unsafe Release has really dropped back now. Onto the podium is he pulling away? I don't think he is just yet. I think he's quicker than the two Nexus
Lennon's
boys.
around.
Was it just a traction loss?
It was indeed, coming out to the tail.
Oh, we gutted. Onto the podium's gone through now. Can Lennon squeeze in between? Oh, his Nexus Cats.
It's going to give Nexus Cats the option. And,
yeah, he's just ahead, Nexus Cats. Now what's Lennon going to do? Is Iceman going to go for it as well? He's not going to be able to, so Lennon has now split the two Subarus, and he's going to be looking at a bit of a switchback coming out of turn 3. Lucky for Lennon, but I think he's probably a little bit higher up than where he expected to be, around the outside of turn number 4. Unlucky Lennon. He's looking very racy indeed. This might allow onto the podium to close a bit of a gap on Unsafe Release, who is losing time. Arscom's favourite Group 4 livery. Well, I'm going to say onto the podiums because I made it for him, and it has a giant shit on the top because that's what I think of him. So that's what I'm going to go for tonight. A lovely matte black and green Spotify sponsored Aston Martin. There we go, look at that. No, in all seriousness, I would probably say...
And I've already got mine, if that helps.
Go on, what's yours?
Mine have been safe for ladies just because it's based off of V8 Supercar.
Yeah.
That's just heaven to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to say switchback. I'm never going to say his one because he's got because he's copied somebody else's. Robbo's is quite cool. Max is okay. I do like this one that Zombie's got though. It's matte black and blue. I mean, I can't imagine who made that one. But
for
yeah.
reference, guys, I remember it.
Yeah, it's all right. It looks quite nice on track. I'm quite pleased with it. There you go. He's got his name on the back and his number.
To be fair, I thought you'd be after the kick cap of it.
Now I do like it, but again, did he make it? Did Lennon make it? Oh, no, he did.
Yeah, Lennon made that.
Oh, fair enough. All right. Okay, that's up there as well.
Past Nexus Cats.
He does. I've just literally gone on board with that. Yep, that's Pete's favourite as well. So Lennon has allowed onto the podium to pull a bit of a gap, and now he is within slipstream range of unsafe release. So the gap is currently 1.2 and slipstream, what would you say, about 1.4, 1.5?
Yeah, slipstream tends to be 1.5.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a PB Racing coming into pit lane.
Oh, it's early, so okay, halfway through the race. Yeah. Halfway through the race, onto the podium is also going to come into the pits as well. He's managed to take the super softs that long. It's quite an interesting call from him. I probably would have gone softs. So let's see who stayed out. So Cornelius has stayed out, unsafe release has stayed out, which is surprising considering he's got half worn tyres on his front. Lennon's tyres, again, they're getting bad. I think Nexus Iceman, his are doing pretty well actually. Those Subaru tyres doing very well.
I would say Nexus Iceman has the best tyre wear in the field.
Yeah,
by far. Good
on him, and he's about to make a move on Lennon, I think. Goes up towards the inside. Lennon's car does go, so he's going to be getting rid of the penalty, but Iceman doesn't go for the move. Very sensibly done. PB Racing has come out in P6. There's a bit of a gap now. Onto the podium's rejoined, and he's just behind his rival Switchback, and Nexus Cats has got to jump on him as well. Switchback's giving Nexus Cats a bit of a punt as they go around the corner. 18 viewers in here now.
I mean, I'm going to say this out loud, it might sound harsh, but I expected more from Switchback.
I did as well. I think he's more... I mean, he self-proclaimed that Group 4 would be his strong point this season, so whether he's just having a bit of a shocker, I don't quite know. Now I'm interested to know how much of a fight he's going to put up onto the podium, because he needs to get past as quickly as possible, because he was racing Nexus Cats.
He's running defensive lines already, so...
Okay, Cornelius is in the pits. Is unsafe release going to come in as well? Unsafe release is carrying on.
Lennon and Nexus Iceman are in. I'm not entirely sure what unsafe is doing. Maybe he's trying to go to the end of this lap to put the supers on?
Yeah, this is what I was thinking, maybe he's done that. PB Racing has regained the race lead. Cornelius is finished his pit stop, and he's going to be rejoining. Cornelius is just coming out now as well. He's got a jump on him, but it's not too much. I would say Cornelius is probably the favourite to win this race, in my opinion. Connor begging Zach to speed up in the party, apparently.
He's got a lot more fuel in.
Yeah, Lennon's come out in between Nexus Cats and onto the podium as well. There's a right little gaggle of cars going on. Let us know in the stream chat as well what you guys think the nicest car is on track or on display this evening.
The podium.
Ross is in this fight as well. Ross was on fresh tyres, so he's had a very good pit stop. Onto the podium's put way too much fuel in his car by the looks of things.
I mean, he'd rather have too much than not enough.
Yeah, very true. Onto the podium, going for a move down inside a switchback. He's going to go around the outside, a little bit of brushing. But onto the podium, I think he's now through, and he's now going to run side by side with Lennon as they approach turn 4. Can he make this stick around the outside? It'd be a lovely move if he pulls this one off. The switchback's now coming back at him. Is he going to take a look? He is. Oh, that's a big dive. And now Ross getting involved in the action as well.
Once their release is in.
Now switchback is on fresh tyres as well, so this is for position. Onto the podium, I think has shot himself in the foot by putting too much fuel in his car. I think that's what's happened here. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm not at this stage. Let's go forward and see what's going on. Nexus Cats is currently in a net P3, so he's going very well.
Got the bit on the supers.
Yeah, the two Nissan boys are running away with this one tonight. So we currently have a little train for P3, unsafe release of a half-second penalty, closely followed by Nexus Cats and Lennon. He's looking rapid. Yeah, Lennon's just gone purple in the first sector as well.
But on the outside of Nexus Cats in the turn too.
Lovely move. There we go. Lennon was not expecting much at all in this race, but from what he's done so far, he's certainly driving very well, I would say. Onto the podium for 1.7 second penalty as well. Oh, he's gone deep. Oh, someone's going to go off in the background.
Iceman's in the gravel.
Iceman, yeah, he's round. Here comes Co-Andy, who's skidding round the corner as well. That looked brilliant on stream. Probably not for him, but 7 minutes to go.
This is the only person not to pit.
Who's that, Max?
Yeah.
Maybe he's just trying to go all the way through. Well, remember, a zombie's off in the gravel. Remember that you get points all the way to 12, so there's only going to be one person at this stage who's not going to get themselves any points. I think some of these guys will be pleased. He's flying. Lennon is absolutely flying. Now, I don't know whether he's going to be quick enough to be challenging these guys in front, but he's certainly going to take a lot of confidence from this, I think.
But he's had a fantastic outlap.
Yeah, he really has.
He was fighting the switchback and going to the podium.
Yeah, they're now squabbling for P6 and P7. Nexus Cats, he's been a little bus as well. I'm pleased to see him doing well.
Onto the podium. I don't know if his head's gone, but he's got 1.7 seconds of penalty.
Yeah, I think it is a matter of that. I wouldn't rule Ross out of this either. This is a lovely little train that we're building up here, and it's quite nice to see. I've got no idea what's going to happen. This is the beauty of it being a brand new season.
Oh, according to Sai, Zach is shouting and I can't understand what he is saying.
Yep.
He's onto the podium, has got past switchback.
Oh yeah, it's onto the podium, makes that move. Now that I reckon that unsafe release Lennon and Nexus Cats might put away, as Ross has gone through as well. So
Ross has got past after the switchback goes a little deep. Not very. Not having the best race is Zach at the moment. I'm keeping an eye on Max. His front left tyre is not happy and he has less than a quarter of a tank of fuel.
there we go, we've got 19 people watching this live. Thank you all very, very much for taking your time out of your evening to watch this unfold. Like I said, the commentary, the streams will get better as we go through. Like I said, it's a very, very new experience for us as well. But we're just going to stay with this action. I know obviously we've got these two front runners running very close, but at the moment they're driving on their own. Yeah, we've got two packs of 3 going on here. Unsafe release. Yeah. That's because I ate a bit of it. Lennon and unsafe release going side by side into turn 2. Lennon does have the advantage with the inside line. Unsafe release looking for a switch back, and he sold him a dream. What a lovely move that was.
Well, Nexus Cats has had a fantastic run up to do.
No, he has. He could be having a look at Lennon here. Onto the podium, and Ross going side by side as well. A lot of things going on.
There is indeed. The Mazdas are looking very good at the moment. Ross in 7th and Unsafe in 3rd. As Lennon's had a wiggle and Nexus Cats is now P4.
He is. Lennon's looking like he's got a lot of pace. It's just the consistency. Ross is taking a look onto the podium. He lifts off. Nice respectful driving between the two. Switch back now. I'm going to maybe take a look at Ross. Some excellent battles going on. I'm quite impressed, to be perfectly honest.
Considering a lot of these boys had never really played GT Sport before today, or before they started practicing for today, racing's been fantastic.
Yeah, Ross is going to get a half-second penalty there because he's just run wide out in the final corner. It might have let him off because I think Switchback gave him a bit of a tap. Angry Panda's in the chat. Unsafe has my favourite livery. Dark Bolt, goated comms. I don't know whether, I'm not too sure, but yeah.
Well, Max has pitted, put the super soft on, put a little bit of fuel in, and he's come out in 12th, just in front of Zombie.
Okay, so a little battle with the back. Let's see what's going on. Unsafe release has pulled a slight gap on Lennon. FTRL car meet soon, absolutely hijacked, no problem.
Well, the two Nissan boys, there was a 2-second gap, it's now 6/10.
Yeah, I think Cornelius is going to win this. Could you imagine a bit of drama in the first race and contact between the two? Oh, Nexus Cats has gone deep.
Red Bull. There was some drama on the last lap.
There was.
Stream, but yeah, there was a collision. So, I won't mention names. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, Switchback and Ross onto the podium. Has pulled a slight gap on them now. He's got about 7/10, and these two are going to be squabbling at the end of sector 2. Ross trying to hold the outside line. Can he make that work? No, Switchback does just get ahead. It's a bit of a green battle between these three. Would you call Ross's car green, or is it more blue?
I wouldn't call it blue.
It's a bit of a teal. Yeah. We'll say it's a battle of the greens because it's just much easier. Can't say a battle of the two greens and the one teal. It just doesn't work, does it?
Well, the two Nissans are one currently.
Yeah. Lennon up the inside of Unsafe Release into turn 1. Unsafe Release going to have to go around the outside. He might get himself a penalty for that, but if he doesn't, he's kept that very, very nicely indeed.
Oh, contact between the Nissans and the brakes.
Oh, going to start rubbing tyres now. This is going to be their last lap of the race. So it's an outright scrap for the race win between these two. Something to keep an eye on. The time is absolutely flown by. Unsafe Release has gone wide. Lennon is through into P3. Nexus Cat's looking to capitalise. Switchback is putting onto the podium under some pressure now. I think Ross has just fallen off the back. They may well do. Could you imagine contact between these two?
I think down to one of them
PB.
should get another lap.
Oh, Cornelius switched back up the inside. Lovely move. PB Racing. Is he going to take a look back? Oh, Cornelius has run wide. He should be okay though.
The battle to be #1 driver.
Certainly is, but Cornelius is through. Is PB Racing going to take a desperate last lap lunge? Maybe into the final corner. Oh, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. Oh, it's a mighty lunge. Oh no, they are going to get one more lap. So we'll keep an eye on those. We're going to come in and watch these last few. Lennon Unsafe Release. They might all get another lap in, to be fair.
So these three should.
Onto the podium. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They are just all going to get another lap, I think. No checkered flags next to their name. How's all their fuel looking? That is the question.
Well, Switchback has got 9%.
He should be okay, to be fair. Unsafe Release does not have a lot.
Neither does Lennon. Oh, well, Cornelius has got past again. Still got this Nissan battle side by side into turn 3. Oh, there's wheel banging. Oh, both of them run deep. Cornelius holds on for now.
Trying to keep with all of these battles now, so much going on. I was just trying to see if I could scroll through a couple of things on the... Oh, PB Racing. He's run onto the grass. He's trying everything for this race win now. Yeah, he's got himself a 1.1 second penalty, so this is Cornelius' race win, but for any mistakes or incidents. He's looking quite aggressive.
Ross has got his way past switchback. Unsafe release is looking critical on fuel.
Cornelius comes around the final corner and he's going to take the first ever win.
Oh,
Oh no, he's not.
1 second penalty.
Ah, it's alright, PB Racing's got a 2.1. So Cornelius does take the win, the first ever race win in FTRL GT2. And then Lennon is coming around the final corner. Can he hold off? But he's got himself a penalty.
So, second penalty.
Unsafe release rounds off the podium. Lennon comes home in P4. Nexus Cat's in P5. Onto the podium 6th. Ross jumps switchback. Gets himself a P7. There we go.
No.
Cool, well, that finished quickly on my screen. We're not quite sure of the final classifications, but we just need to save the race replay.
We can access the race results, so that's not too bad.
Cool, right, let's save this race replay.
So race results, Cornelius gets the win from PB Racing.
Yes, he does.
Unsafe jumps Lennon. So Lennon in 4th. Nexus Cat did very well to finish 5th.
Yeah, really pleased for him there.
Now onto the podium got P6. Ross did indeed jump switchback by a 1/10.5. So that was very close on the line. Kawandi was the first of the guys not to get that extra lap, so Kawandi in 9th. Nexus Iceman finished 10th after his little spin mid-race. Slav King Robo finishes 11th in the Hyundai. Zombie jumped Max in the end by 5 seconds, so Zombie finishes 12th and Max unfortunately finishes 13th.
Okay, there we go. So the points stop at Zombie, so Zombie gets himself the one final point. Max is the only driver to miss out. Now race number 2, we are going to be joined by Dark Bolt, I believe. I'm just going to confirm with Switchback that he's all good to set up race number 2. Switchback, we're kind of trying to help him because he's managing these lobbies as we stream it, so we're going to change over to Fuji and we'll talk about that track very soon. So yeah, yeah, a pretty good first race all round, I would say, Pagani.
Of course, it was very clean.
Yeah, it was. There was not really any massive incidents. The front two were sort of rubbing a little bit there, but I think on the whole it was a cracking race.
I mean, we'll see what the GT1 boys are like tomorrow. I mean, I know we have Simon in the lobby, so anything can happen.
Exactly. Well, tomorrow's races for GT1, we are at Interlagos for race number 1 in the Group 4 cars, and in race 2 we're at St. Croix, so it's about a 3.5 minute lap, one of the longest tracks. Max is now panicking. What do I have to do now? I don't think he quite understands everything that's going on. Yes, GT1's on. So the division name. So this is GT2, or what you would class as Division 2, but we just gone with those. So make sure everything's all good. So I'm just going to double check everything's fine here. So practice endurance, Fuji, fine weather. There we go. Everything. But I'll say a word of advice: don't use BT. Okay, but no, it's a cracking first race. Please let us know in the comments who you thought was, well, we're going to say driver of the day for the first race. I don't know. Who would do a man of the match? Let's go with that. Now, who gets your vote for best driver for race 1? What would you say, Pagani? I'm going to go with Lennon in that race because he exceeded my expectations massively. I was very impressed with Unsafe Release and obviously the two Nissan boys. Unsafe getting a podium in that Atenza. Very, very impressive around this track. But no, Lennon just surprised me overall with his overall pace. I was very impressed, as did Nexus Cats, but I'm going to go with Lennon.
Nexus Cats would be my choice.
Yep. Panda is going for Cornelius. Then you've got Peatman saying Lennon for race 1.
I'm kind of surprised that Will spelt Cornelius wrong. Isn't that your third cousin, Will?
Right, I'm just going to put a message in saying race starts at... race starts at 8:55. Please. So, yeah, do you want to talk to everybody about the new mandatory 2-stop that we've put into place, mate? And why we've done it?
I mean... So what, we're on season 7 now for the Div 1 boys?
Yep.
So I mean, as admins, it looked like we were having the same sort of guys towards the front, namely myself, and I got sick of winning because Sai couldn't challenge me because he's a bit shit. But no, I want the league to be somewhere where nobody knows who's going to win every race. It just, if people have a good race, they're going to do well. Like, it's not down to the cars, it's not down. Everybody can do well somewhere. So, the super soft tyre, the soft tyre, and the medium tyre. You have to run each tyre for at least one lap of the race. So, I mean, strategy-wise, you want to be on the super soft tyre for as long as possible because it's the quickest, obviously. The soft tyre is a very capable tyre, and it was used a lot last season. I think most people use the soft all season.
Yeah.
And the medium tyre is a tyre that nobody really used because it's a bit slow. But if you use it in the right manner, it can help. So, but we've tried to utilise all three tyres to bring a bit more strategy into the races rather than just having the simple one stop or two stop. You've got to do two stops no matter what. But if you want to run again later on the super soft tyre, you can do. While someone's on a set of medium, so you're going to be about 3 seconds a lap faster.
Yeah. So it's just going to put a massive spanner in the works, isn't it? Remember to save the race replay from the last one, mate, by the way. And also to click spectate. Yeah, so it just puts a massive spanner in the works. Like, it was all well and good. The races become so much closer when we did this mandatory... when we'd done the manufacturers and whatnot. It just brought everyone's pace together. Like, you've got things like the Toyota being the best car on the grid on tyre wear but the worst off the line, so that kind of counteracts itself. And there's so many factors to every single car that we thought, how can we make this better? Because last season was just an absolute revelation. I mean, Pagani deserves a huge amount of credit for putting in God knows how many hours and miles into testing and making sure this was all going to run perfectly. I think, how many miles did you do in the end?
5,300 and something.
Yeah, exactly. It's a hell of a lot of mileage, so to make sure that this all ran perfectly. So the credit has all got to go there. But then we saw the Nations Cup and the Manufacturers Cup on the Gran Turismo, like the official Gran Turismo races, and we saw they did the mandatory stops, and it just made everything so much more interesting with how people's races were going to work and, you know, how they would go about doing their business. Because people like Dartbolt, for argument's sake, in pre-season has probably been the fastest guy in this division, but we've seen him get his strategy wrong a couple of times already, so that could be a theme. He could be the fastest out there, but if he gets his strategy wrong, then it completely nullifies his pace, doesn't it? So yeah, plenty of things to go through, but let's have a quick livery check on all of these.
I've just seen on safe releases, and you're probably going to cream.
Yeah, probably
it's
will.
on a Mazda, and it's food related.
Nice. There we go. Well, Dartbolts is very, very nice. Let's have a look at Robbo's. So he's rocking the same one as he did in his Group 4.
Yeah, a bit of rich energy.
Yeah, there we go. Where's Cornelius? Oh, I can't actually see him on track. Lennon's rocking the Kit Kat again.
What was it? Cornelius has got an Alpha Tauri.
Oh, Andy's is nice. Oh, that's a very nice. I'm quite a fan of Andy's there. Max is rocking the default livery, so I know it's going to upset you. Let's have a look at Ross's. Ross has got a fantastic looking car, I think.
That hits top marks for me because it's basically an Andrew Jordan British touring car.
Yeah.
Running with Vertec, it was a special edition chrome livery did for one race, so yeah, had to make a shiny car.
There we go. Onto the podiums in his Hulkenberg Renault inspired car that I did for him. If you can't really see it too well, but just on his front bumper, just underneath the grille, it says Vote Nico. He's got his place of work on the back as well. Got all sorts of stuff going on his car. So I know the Nexus boys are running a Manor Racing inspired livery, and Nexus Cats has just got the word Sophia up the side of it, which, I mean, is the name of my sister, so I'm hoping there's nothing there. And PB Racing, I can kind of see his car, but I can't make too much of a judgment at the minute. Switchback is in another one, he's nicked, an unsafe release. Yeah, all I can see is Kinder on the back of it, so I'm already a big fan. Okay. So everyone's saying Ross's livery, so Ross has won this one. Let's give him a little bit of airtime on that. It's a fantastic looking livery.
To be fair, see if you can find Cornelius, because it's a nice representation of the Alpha Tauri in F1.
Oh yeah.
It does look quite good.
Let's have a look. Oh yeah, that's very nice. It wouldn't let me see it earlier on. So I'm just going to back out and make sure everybody's in their cars. Everybody is in their cars. So we are ready to rock and roll.
Again, you have Zombie's car, which you also created.
Yeah, I can't see that. Oh yeah, there's always his Newcastle car.
It is indeed.
Yeah, so he's got his Puma at the front. Virgin Racing. They were once sponsored by Virgin, weren't they? So
Yeah.
they've got Newcastle Brown Arrow on the back. And we've got big Newcastle crest on the top of the car. So yeah, so there's some lovely liveries out on track tonight. But no, Fuji, Pagani, we've got some history around here, haven't we?
We do indeed.
We do.
A certain photo finish.
Yeah, so it was for a race win a couple of seasons ago, wasn't it? And or was it last season? It wasn't, was it? It was the one before.
Not the one before.
Yeah, and then what was it? Was it 8 thousandths of a second, or was it less than that? 6 thousandths of a second. You beat me by. Just yeah. But no. So race number 2, we get to see everyone's tyre choices. So Dark Bolt mediums, onto the podium super soft, Nexus Cat super soft, Cornelius medium, Zombie super soft, Lennon super soft, Iceman super soft, Robbo super soft, Max medium, Andy on the softs, Ross on the softs, PB Racing on the softs, Switchback on the mediums, and Unsafe Release on the soft. So remember, they have to use super soft, softs and mediums in this race.
There's a lot of different tyre combinations starting out.
Next is Cat's like, I'm sure you've got nothing to do with your sister. I know that, mate, I know. Anyway, Dark Bolt starting at the front, for me, would automatically make him favourite for this race. I know how quick he is, it's just a case of whether he can get his tyre strategy right. But let's take a look, all of the quicker guys. So PB Racing, Cornelius starting at the back because they came at the start of race number 1. Let's try and get a good camera angle, but we can't. So
starting on mediums and soft respectively. So.
There we go. Well, it is lights out and away we go.
Oh, there's contact at the front.
Whoa, there's been massive contact already. Who's onto the podium's already round. I think somebody might have full started. I think Max full started and that cost onto the podium. We're going down into turn 1. Zombies had a tap. There's a little bit of contact going on. Unsafe Release is round as he's managed to hold it. Switchback's round.
Oh no.
There we go. Oh no. Oh, the Kinder Mazda is just fantastic. Yeah, Switchback is miles back.
Oh, we're 4 wide. Ross, Cornelius, everyone else.
Cornelius is already through. PB Racing's already through. He's had a big lunge.
Co-Andy's
round. That's from PB Racing, I think. Bumped him and spun him off. Onto the podium, and Exercise Man. They both had poor starts due to some contact, but fortunately they're able to catch back up fairly quickly.
Currently got Toyotas 13th and 14th.
Oh, PB Racing, huge wiggle. Nexus Cats and Robbo having good starts. Dark Bolt's already got about a 1 second gap to Robbo. Now talk to me a little bit about Fuji, Pagani. It's but we will go through like a 1 lap kind of guide a bit later on, but there's some tricky corners here. Obviously we're on the very, very long straight now where we're going to see cars like the Aston and the Lexus and whatnot kind of come into their own.
Well, Nissan is very good in straight line.
Yes, sorry, Nissan.
Probably one of the quickest. If you ask Lee anyway.
Cornelius and PB going side by side. Lennon's really overshot the first corner.
The trouble with Fuji for most people is there's 3 or 4 different lines for most of the corners. So if someone's going for the outside line, you can sometimes sneak up the inside, which the guy on the outside doesn't necessarily see. So you do sometimes see some overlaps and a bit of contact here and there, but I mean, the boys are nicely spaced out at the moment, so I don't expect too much more contact.
No, I mean there might be a few bumps and bangs along the way. I'm just keeping an eye on these 2 Nissans and Unsafe Release as well. Unsafe Release in the Group 3 a Tenza. which is a very, very quick car.
I was saying, that car is sort of your baby, isn't it?
It certainly is, mate.
Move on Cornelius.
Very nice move. Onto the podium is now tagged onto the back of Iceman. So there's a huge train forming now, but he is on the super softs, so he's going to be looking to push his way more towards the front at this stage of the race.
Onto the podium on the back of a train, that's something new. He's normally at the head of the train.
Yeah, or unless everyone's managed to finally get past him. So he's at the back of the train for about 3 seconds before everyone else leaves him there. Lennon's just gone around the outside of unsafe release and he's about to, on the outside of Nexus Iceman. Cornelius has had a huge wiggle on the final corner and he's dropped down to P10.
Medium tyres can be very difficult to start out around. Not much tyre temperature and low speed corners, especially for some of the quicker cars.
No track temperature either.
Yeah.
Unsafe release and Lennon going into the first corner. Unsafe release just manages to hang on. Lennon going to be looking for a switchback. Robbo's round.
Robbo's gone.
Was that contact?
He got on the AstroTurf on the outside, trying to get the power down and half spun into PB.
Right. There we go. So PB is first to be let loose, I would say.
Andy's gone off. I'm not entirely sure how he's gone off over there, but...
Onto the podium, up to P7. There's a few mistakes happening along the way now. Yeah, Co-Andy not having the best of starts, neither is Max.
However, Nexus Cats on those super soft tyres at the front is beginning to close down Dark Bolt.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, Dark Bolt did have quite a good start, but those super softs now has a little bit of temperature into him. You would probably expect him to close up. SPY, this track is an absolute stinker. It's not SPY, please don't upset me. I love this track with an absolute passion.
And of course, Zombie currently P3 started high up, but he held on to it on those super soft tyres.
He has. He certainly has. PB Racing's coming, all that massive train behind him is coming now. 23 people watching, it says on my phone now. 21 on my screen, but...
This is probably the most we've had in a chat for a long while.
Yeah, for a while. I mean, everyone just decided to dislike F1, and I think it's quite a good time for us to transition over. Everyone's sort of paying a bit of interest in this. There's a lot of familiar names in here as well, though. So the Dark Bolt's starting to pull a bit of a gap on Nexus Cats. Oh, there's some contacts. These two
basically got no paint left in the front of his car after that start line incident.
Yeah.
So I think nobody knows to vote an eco anymore.
Yeah, so there is a full start. So the boys have to hold their brakes before they set off, rather than just rev the engine and just let go. Have to hold the brakes and then let go and accelerate as the lights go out. So sometimes it catches people out. I think it might have been Max that got caught out. Cornelius is struggling to recover after his little wiggle he had earlier on, but he's on the medium tyres, so he'll come into his own towards the end. Onto the podium, does look quick at the moment. He has got the fastest lap of the race as well, 39.0. You want to be looking at a good race time for, what do you want to say, mid 38s really is a decent lap time.
I was going to say mid 38s race pace on supers is where you want to be. So
yeah, it's about half second off. Yeah. Oh, hello. Who's that? PB Racing.
I'm going to have to close the stream on my tablet. I'm lagging a little bit, but anyway.
Yeah, PB Racing's had a bit of a wiggle somewhere and onto the podium has gone through.
Yeah, PB was very wide at the north of the corner.
Onto the podium up the inside of unsafe release. Is he going to take a look going down into turn one? He pulls out. He's going to be later on the brakes now. It just shows him that he's there.
Is it unsafe? It does tend to be very, very late on the brakes, especially with a Mazda. It's a very good car in the brakes.
It is. Very much so. Cornelius has got past Nexus Iceman in the background. How close is now? Dark Bolt signs to pull away now. Nexus Cats is losing time to Zombie behind him, but he's also being caught by this train of Lennon unsafe onto the podium. PB, Cornelius and Iceman. Where's Ross? He's had a bit of a scrap with unsafe release. Yeah, we're sorry, we'll switch back. PB Racing onto the podium. PB Racing's just shoved him out wide there.
one thing you don't want to do is in the corner.
No, you don't want to be making early enemies with onto the podium, because you will never let you forget it.
That Nissan's definitely shaking its hips.
It definitely is. Now Lennon is now attacking Zombie. He's gone up the inside at the penultimate corner. Zombie's going to have a better run on the exit because of his traction, but Lennon is probably going to get him down a straight, I would say. When are we going to start seeing the first few pit stops? Because those super softs only last 6-7 laps most.
Zombie, oh, Nexus Cast looks like he's coming at the pits this lap. No. He decided to bit people, just, you know. Don't know why.
Lennon pulls out on Zombie. Heading down in towards the first corner. Gets on the brakes. Unsafe release is massively overshot. If Lennon's car didn't ghost, yeah.
3 places in one corner.
I think if Lennon didn't ghost, and unsafe release was punting him to absolute Narnia.
And the tyre wear on the Aston Martins is looking quite good, comparatively to the Nissan and the Mazda in front.
There we go, Zombie, unsafe release. It's all, yeah. I'm quite impressed with how close the racing's been so far. I thought it'd be a bit more spread out and they'd all come together towards the end. Unsafe release is having a right.
Trying to get past the team, mate.
Yeah, this is a time he doesn't want to be losing, I think, at the moment. Zombie is slightly better off on his tyres, I think.
Yeah, I think that start line half spin front of him does not help his tyre situation.
Cornelius looking to go around the outside of these two. He's going to have a...
Oh, Connor's had a massive wiggle.
We're going to see anybody dive into the pits. Lennon's not too bad. Nexus Cats has to go this lap, surely. Yeah, he's in.
Nexus Cats is in. Zombie's in as well, as is Connor. As is Iceman.
So I'm going to go down and see what all of these guys are going on. So they're all currently on super softs. Remember, they all need to use super softs, softs and medium tyres. So Nexus Cats is on the softs. Zombies on the softs, onto the podium, onto the mediums.
Iceman's on the mediums.
There we go. Okay. Oh, Switchback and Ross still going at it.
I was going to say, there was nothing to separate these two in the previous race, and now they're back together in this one. So it would appear that they have very similar pace.
Yeah, PB Racing and Lennon going at it in the battle for second. PB Racing does just get ahead, so showing some good pace.
Well, Lennon is still on the super soft tyre, so they're not looking the healthiest, but they're still not too bad. There's still a bit of life in them.
Unsafe release just lurking, patiently waiting, I think.
Let's see if Lennon snaps his Kit Kat.
Well, PB's run wide, Lennon's run wide.
Lennon had a massive wiggle under. Oh, Lennon's gone for the Donzo line, keeping the apex. PB went for the wider line to get the better run on the straight.
Interesting. Is Lennon going to dive into the pits? I think he's going to now.
And he's on the inside.
Yeah,
so
he's in.
I mean, touch wood, I haven't seen anybody crash coming into the pit lane yet.
No, that's always good. That is always good.
Oh, Nexus Cats has come out in between Ross and Switchback. Switchback going for a move in turn 1.
Cornelius still to pit. There's a massive gaggle of cars behind. All Switchbacks falling to the back of this little bunch now. Everyone's wobbling under traction. It's quite, in fairness, it's quite a difficult track for these guys to sort of debut their GT Sport careers at. But then again, it shows you might as well give them the hardest test to start off with.
To be fair to Zach switchback. I was in a party with him last night and we all baited him at using no traction. So,
Yeah.
because he was using traction control. But we said it's quicker without, but we didn't tell him how it was quicker without, so he's using no traction in the Group 3 car for the first time tonight, so...
Well, Robbo's
Welcome,
gives...
Zach.
Yeah, onto the podium. He's now falling behind these two, his teammate and Robbo, but he needs to try and find a way past as quickly as possible, because he's definitely quicker than these guys at this stage, I think.
Well, Robbo is still on the super soft tyres he started on, and they're very worn at the moment.
Yeah, he needs to put himself in the pits. Onto the podium, needs to go for a move here. He doesn't, pulls out. Just losing time, losing a lot of time.
This one a little bit deep, those medium tyres on that Subaru, not enjoying it at the moment.
No.
What does Robbo do? Does he come into pit lane? When you think he has to by now.
Yeah, unsafe sin. Lennon's leading this train now. Oh, there's contact between Lennon and Nexus Cats. Ross is there as well.
Oh, Ross with a massive slide on the exit turn 1.
So Lennon's on fresh tyres, Nexus Cats is, Ross isn't, and neither is Switchback. Look at the tyre difference between Ross and Switchback.
Yeah. Ross is looking very good on his tyres currently.
That's amazed me.
Look
How's
at the
his
fuel difference as well.
Well, I'm not entirely sure what Switchback's doing. Ross hasn't pitted, has he?
Not yet, no. Well, Nexus Cat and Lennon. Nexus Cat is on the soft and Lennon's on the medium, so... Oh, there's a bit of contact between the pair. Coming at the braking zone, but... both managed to make it round the corner.
Yeah, onto the podium, still stuck behind his teammate. An unsafe release has got out ahead of him, so he's going to be losing ground. These guys need to all kind of pull up as quickly as possible. Cornelius and Darkbolt and PB Racing have made a bit of a break at the front. Darkbolt's tyres not looking too bad. PB Racing's is awful.
Oh, Darkbolt's overshot turn 1. Keep it going in a straight line though, but he's running low on fuel. Is that Lexus?
Okay, both the Nissans are in.
In the box.
Look at this little train for P2 now. Look at them going to go 3 wide. Nexus Cats to the inside. They're on the brakes. Nice and respectful, well done. I've been really impressed with Nexus Cats' driving tonight. Really impressed.
I was going to say, he's done very well. He joined the GT1 towards the back end of last season, but his driving has been fantastic tonight.
Yeah, it definitely has. Let's go and check in with these guys just a little bit further down. So Cornelius is ahead of Zombie, who's ahead of onto the podium. Unsafe Release has obviously had a massive slide onto the podium as a 6.6 second penalty.
That would suggest there's been contact with another car somewhere.
Yeah, an Unsafe Release is now behind him, but I'm struggling to believe that. Yeah, let's gonna have to wait and see. Review that afterwards, I think.
I mean, Next Iceman has a British flag next to his name, so I'm going to call him British after he said he'd break my kneecaps if I did. So. Come at me, Iceman. What you got?
Oh, Switchback is defending from PB Racing whilst trying to close down Ross. He's surely got a pit soon. He's shooting himself in the foot massively here, I think. Unsafe Releasing onto the podium, going close. Darkbolt's in.
Who started on the mediums, just come in the pits. Oh, there's contact between PB and Zach. Coming on to start finish straight.
Now Cornelius is about to put him under pressure. Switchback, is he going to dive into the pits? Yeah, he is.
Oh, he's not happy. Zach is not a happy bunny.
Iceman gets a... Zombie has a 2-second penalty onto the podium, is now just ahead of this little train. Can he hold it into turn 1? Is he going to go too deep on the brakes? No, he holds the apex very nicely done onto the podium.
Zach is currently wishing he was in Papua New Guinea.
With Rachel. Anyway, Dartbolt is in the race lead, and he has just under a second to Lennon. He's on fresher tyres and softer tyres, but I think this is all going to be to play for come the end of this race. If Lennon can stay fairly close to him, they're both going to be on super soft towards the end, I believe.
I was going to say, the good news with this type of racing is you don't really know who's doing what until the last stages.
Yeah, until the final few minutes you have no idea who's in contention to win. At the moment you think Dartbolt's probably favourite, and I would still go with that, but a lot can happen.
Hasn't pitted. Currently P4.
Maybe he's going to go, what, 12 minutes on the softs, 8 on the supers maybe?
I mean,
Nevertheless.
you want to be on the softer compound for as long as possible, but if Ross is getting time out of the mediums, then...
I think if you're Ross you need to pit.
At a half spin.
Oh, he's still going. Can he get it under pressure? Yeah, it's sort of switchbacks falling right off. Oh, it's obviously after his pit stop when he's fueled right up as well onto the podium. Has now fallen behind Iceman. Yeah.
I think switchback asks for drop zone 3 and realises there's no money there, so he's not happy. Well, the Nissans are side by side yet again.
Cornelius came out the pit alongside Connor, which is how Connor onto the podium got his penalty. Zach is not happy, he can confirm. Pete Massan, the Donzo line's in the gravel.
Nice bit of banter between teammates, huh?
Oh, we had somebody, God, forgive me my friend, I can't pronounce your name, but yeah, please tweet us, FTRL_GT Sport. And I will happily speak to you. You'll be speaking to me on there, so happily speak to you, my friend. But no, the stream's doing very well. Onto the podium, has managed to get back ahead now, but all of these lot squabbling for position is not going to be doing any of these guys any favours. The two Nissans are.
They seem very well matched on pace.
They do. Lennon and Nexus Cats are doing very well between the two of them. Dartbolt has now bolted off, for want of a better phrase. I apologise.
I'm not happy.
Sorry. Lennon and Nexus Cats.
Subaru have against the Lexus in this track.
I'm impressed with this Subaru. I'm impressed with both of them, to be fair. Iceman is a last minute replacement, but Nexus Cats is doing fantastic. Lennon pulls out. Is he going to take a look? That mean looking Lexus. He does.
You can't call a car mean. It's got Kit Kat on the bonnet.
Well, I know, I'm trying to make it sound more dramatic than it actually is, Pagani.
We only have one Nissan behind them. What's happened to PB Racing?
Oh, he must have had a huge wiggle. Unsafe release is there. Iceman is there. Onto the podium, is now falling behind these guys. Ross is just a few seconds back. Onto the podium, slowly getting rid of his penalty as well. So
we've got a 3-car train at the back between Max, Robbo and Andy.
There we go.
All of them fighting for a point. Or 2 points.
Certainly are.
Andy having a look into turn 1, flashes his lights a lot. He's scared that he's braking.
No, the flashing that I know exactly what that is. Oh, Robbo!
Robbo's on the Astro.
It's that's when you know you can overshoot a corner, when you desperately press down on the analog stick. I do that a lot and just tend to flash the stream. So he's not doing it for stream purposes. It's purely just panic, because that's what happens with me. Or zombie an idiot in the back of switchback. Nearly absolutely sent him.
Cornelius has got past both Nexus Cats and Lennon.
Yeah, these two have been really fighting. Oh, Lennon!
Lennon had a massive wiggle on traction coming out of the last corner.
Yeah, it's a very, very difficult track on traction, it must be said.
We've got Agent Pang on the track saying well done, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, mate.
I mean, we've got Goy in here. Are we getting you in here soon?
We need a bit of Agent Panda in here. Oh, Lennon! God, he's wiggly on the old traction. So most of the guys are going to be running super softs towards the end. Cornelius is now pulled clear. He's on soft tyres. He's going to be going to the supers at the end as well, I believe.
He's on the same sort of strategy as Dark Bolt in front. There is 11 seconds between them.
Yeah, Dark Bolt does look a strong favourite to me at this stage.
Well, Max and Zombie are in the pits.
Okay. Well, it's all kind of died down a little bit now. Onto the podium, Nexus Iceman, and Ross has caught up to them as well. I'm really impressed with Ross. When he first joined, told us he was going to join. Go on.
Robbo's round at turn 1. Obviously had too many cars on.
Yeah, I'm impressed with Ross. He said when he was first going to join, his pace wasn't quite there. He didn't really know the track, but he's obviously been putting the time in. We know on F1 he's an extremely good driver, is Ross. He's got a bit of pace, and he kind of reminds me of you a bit, Pagani, in terms of he always leaves more than enough space. He's always very respectful on track. Like, he's somebody that you kind of enjoy racing. Oh, they're 3 wide.
Yesterday, and he looked too much like me, sort of leaving way too much space and holding up his own race, trying to give the person on the outside space.
Well, that's unless you're battling a specific German, but we won't go into that. I don't want to upset him. I don't want to upset him. Right, onto the podium. Nexus Iceman and Ross, all battling for P6 as we approach the final 15.
How do you feel about Assetto Corsa Competizione coming to PlayStation 4?
Oh, I'm very excited. Very, very excited indeed. It should be good fun. There's a massive widespread of tracks, and yeah, it's a completely new type of game.
As a pad player, it's a bit sketchy for me, but no doubt I'll probably be there at some point.
Oh, you'll be there. We'll make sure of that. We will make sure of that. And it's another opportunity for us to grow. I think what we really are looking to do, I mean, we won't talk too much about it because we've got some really good racing going on here. I'm really impressed with these boys tonight, Pagani. I was expecting, with all due respect to them, I was expecting worse. But I'm very, very impressed. There's not been that many mistakes. There's not really been any massive collisions. As I say, there's a massive yellow flag ahead of me. What has happened?
I'm not entirely sure. Unsafe.
Oh, it's Max. Max doing donuts, I think. Yeah, Max is just... Right, okay.
Everyone's favourite Belgian. Just... I'm sure I shouldn't have told him to have that second can, you know.
No. To the podium is clear, but no. I mean, what we're looking to do is try and move away from being just an F1 league. We kind of, like we said, we always wanted to make it about the community of people, and moving on to GT, it seemed like a very natural, good thing to do. And obviously, with the amount of views we've got tonight and the way the racing's been, we can only hope that's going to grow. And if Assetto Corsa becomes a thing as well that people like and enjoy, we can look at that as well. There's not really any limit as to what we can do. We've got the people to do it.
Max just tried to get back to pit lane and spun.
Wow.
No.
Just watching PB Racing kind of forcing his way past Lennon, and got the elbows out there, certainly.
I mean, I've used elbows to get past Lennon, and he doesn't like it.
Oh, he's gone for what a move.
Lennon.
What a move. Yeah, Lennon's just sold him an absolute dream, switchbacked him, going into the left hand hairpin. What a move. Move of the day so far for me. Oh, okay.
Lennon's sideways on the accelerator. He's got very low fuel. I expect him to hit very soon.
Yeah, probably be this lap.
As Max is probably drunk. Dark Bulb's put his hazard lights on and is currently ghosted, so I don't know if he's going AI down the straight.
Oh, maybe it's his internet again. Alright, he's moving to Max. I think I'll put a message in for... Oh no, I can't. Oh yes I can. Just going to put a quick message out.
He's left.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, move of the day by Lennon.
Well, Lennon has come into the pits. That's his next Iceman.
Well, we'll be able to get a clearer understanding in the next few minutes as to what's going to happen in the closing stages of this race.
Oh God, I've just seen what's on the roof of Lennon's car.
Do I want to look?
No.
Is it a Liverpool badge?
Yes. Does that mean he's got a bottle as well? Oh, did I say that?
Oh. Okay, Ross has really made up a lot of time onto the podium. Who's going to be going on super soft soon, but look who's in the battle for 6th and 7th.
Where has Zach come from?
I don't really know. Well, if you didn't know, he's a supermarket assistant from Air. I thought you knew that already.
Oh, it's gone back. Oh.
Let's have a look at these two. Oh, a little bit of elbows.
Zach putting some M&Ms on the shelf.
Yeah. Onto the podium. Is he going to respond? I'm imagining onto the podium is going to respond fairly soon.
Oh.
Yeah, he's going to be coming in this lap because he's got no fuel left at all. So he's coming in this lap for the final 7 laps, I want to say. Give or take 6 laps maybe. Onto the podium will be in this lap 100%. Here he goes. So he's going to be the first to sort of kind of pull the trigger. Ross has caught massively. Look at his speed. He's up with his teammate now. All up the inside, unsafe release, massively outbrakes himself. Ross goes through, leads the attends a charge. Unsafe release won't like that.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Ross has just let unsafe through.
Strange, he's on much fresher tyres. You want to just go for it.
Obviously, they've got a clear number 1, number 2 in the team, but Ross is definitely quicker at the moment. He's just going to hold himself up.
And he's on fresher, softer tyres. I don't quite understand. Maybe he bumped him slightly, but Ross needs to just go now. As much as they're not under a large amount of threat, pit stops are certainly going to play a part. But Ross, is he going to look towards the outside? Maybe get a switch back on his teammate now. Yeah, he does. Unsafe release is off. Yeah, his tyres are shot to pieces.
I was going to say, there is an individual championship. The highlight of the championship is the Manufacturers' Cup, so you need to work together in teams.
Absolutely.
Oh, unsafe! I don't know how he's still going in a straight line. He's had a massive slide through the left-hander, put opposite lock in and gone to Narnia. He's nearly at Suzuka, he's gone that far wide.
Oh yeah, he's absolutely all over the place. Right, Cornelius has pulled the trigger, he's in. Is PB Racing going to follow? Yes, he is. Is Ross going to go in? No, Ross is going to go. I mean, I don't think Ross has done all of his stops.
I don't think he has. I think he's still loads of set of supers.
Yeah, oh, there's Cornelius.
Zach's in as well.
Oh, Cornelius runs into the side of Ross. Probably should have waited. To be honest, Ross is probably going to pull out of this move now. Oh no, he's not, he's ahead. No, nicely done. Gets him back.
I mean, Ross has had a fantastic race in this Group 3 Mazda.
Yes. Just got to see where he ends up. Now, Cornelius is on the super softs and he wants to get past as quickly as possible if he's going to have any chance in this race, but it's looking like a first and a second. Lennon is out. I think Lennon's made all of his stops, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's on the soft.
So Lennon's battling for position. Right, Cornelius is past Ross. Then inside at the hairpin.
Bare bones on fuel. So.
Yeah, Ross should be in this lap and then going supers to the very end. Dartbolt is into the pits, but he's got a 27-second gap, so I'm sure that's going to be Dartbolt to the end. Lennon's battling for what is a net P3. PB Racing is coming. Nexus Cats is ending the race on the medium tyre. Unsafe Release is in 7th, just ahead of Switchback, who has a gap to onto the podium.
Nexus Cats has sort of done the race in reverse to everybody else, where everybody else sort of started on the medium, so he started on the super softs. So he's quick at the start, has a 5-second gap currently to unsafe on the supers, so it's going to come down. But can Nexus Cats hold off?
I'm amazed at the gap that Switchback has pulled onto the podium and in pit stops. There's an 8-second gap.
Ross has come out the pits just behind Nexus Cats on the super soft tyre.
So he's in a fairly good position here, because this is close, all the way up to P3.
He has a lot less fuel than everybody else.
But in theory he's only got to do what, 4 laps, 5 laps tops? I think he'll be okay with that. I imagine he'll get past. Ross is going to be one to watch here, but Lennon and PB Racing for the final podium spot is going to be the interesting one. Lennon is on softs that are slightly more worn, and we've seen PB Racing will get his elbows out, there's no denying that. I think Ross accidentally forced unsafe a bit off, so we let him back through. Oh, okay, I've just seen Panda's comment. Junkie Sports here.
Honestly, I've raced Lennon for what, nigh on 4 years, and he will not make it easy for anyone.
No, he will not. I can confirm that. Ross is looking around the outside of Nexus Cats. Nexus Cats holds his line. Switchback from Ross possibly. No, I think he's going to wait and get him on the straight, but unsafe release is there now, so the two Masters on the attack.
I mean, I'm pleased Ross and Nexus Cats are battling, because for me these are my two standout drivers so far today.
Yeah, I think Nexus Cats has just pushed him off a bit though. I think he may have just waited for him, so he's probably going to lose a position because of that, but fair play to Nexus Cats. I think he's driven excellently tonight. Switchback is coming as well. Onto the podium's really lost a lot of time.
I don't want that image anywhere near the stream.
Blue flags in there, but
held off both Mazdas.
Oh, Lennon's round.
Oh no. Oh no,
he's reached. Oh god. Unsafe release is pushing Nexus Cats around the corner. They're running in blocks of 2. Unsafe release can up the inside of all of them.
Oh.
Switchback is on charge as well. 4.5 minutes left. So we are looking at what, 3 laps? Oh, Ross is off.
Ross is round the outside of everyone.
Yeah, well, we know the front 3, so apologies for those guys for not getting much airtime, but this is the battle that we are all eager to see unfold. Unsafe release has got through, and I imagine we'll see him pull away now. Nexus Cats is off. Ross is going past. Lennon's gone past. Switchback's there now as well.
Oh, Lennon's had a wiggle.
How close they are. So this is the reason why we made the mandatory 2-stop a thing. Switchbacks just pushed Nexus Cats wide.
Dirty from Zach, probably thinking of Ben Shepherd. I really shouldn't be laying into as much as he's doing comms for GT1 race tomorrow.
Yeah, I know, it needs to be nice.
I don't really care.
Unsafe release needs to just run now, I think. Onto the podium, has made up a little bit of time with these guys fighting, but I think it's going to be a bit too much. So he'll be disappointed with that tonight.
We've got a 3 wide down the straight. Ross, Lennon and Switchback. Into turn 1, Ross on the inside.
Yeah, Lennon's going to have to yield position. Switchback around the outside, can he hold it?
He can hold it on Lennon, but Ross comes out in P5. I mean, he has super soft tyres that are in the best condition, so...
He does. Ross up into P5, Switchback in P6, Lennon in P7, Nexus Cats 8th onto the podium, P9. The front 3 have pretty much decided themselves, but I think we're all just going to watch and see this battle unfold. I'm going to have a quick look at those down towards the bottom end. Iceman in 10th, Zombie in 11th, Andy in 12th, and Robbo just been lapped by Dark Bolt, and currently in P13.
Dark Bolt's managed to get himself a penalty, so obviously still pushing on a little bit.
Yep. Now, Lennon and Switchback. I mean, Switchback's on softer and fresher tyres, so Lennon could be in a bit of trouble, but I think he'll be okay. There will be 2 more laps.
podium, is he closing? I don't think he's closing enough to be able to catch Nexus Cat.
He is closing, but it's not going to be enough in 2 laps, I don't think. He might get within 2 or 3 seconds towards the end. I mean, he's on mediums, I suppose, Nexus Cat, so he might get something out of it. Lennon's on the attack, the switchback is in the slipstream. Falls towards the inside as we start the penultimate lap of the race. Down towards turn 1, Lennon goes perfectly around there, switchback, going for the switchback.
I've just realised that Kinder livery actually has a Kinder egg on the side of it, which...
It's absolutely brilliant. It's a great livery. Oh, Ross is...
I say Ross is
charging. Yeah, he's charging. He's going for his teammate, and fair play to him.
He just set his fastest lap of the race, which was 4/10 quicker than his teammate, so...
He's going for it. He's got 1.6 to catch in a lap and a sector.
Switchback side by side behind. Lennon gets the move done.
Switchback has got 1 lap to respond. God, Lennon's car. Just imagine where he would be if he hadn't have had that spin earlier on. He might still be in P3. Because that was a big spin.
Lennon doing Lennon things and spinning.
Oh, needs to be careful riding those curbs. He's using all the track. Yeah, Ross is on the charge now. He's well within slipstream range. 1 second is the gap. Plenty of things to watch.
The battle on the last lap.
Onto the podium, 2.3 seconds now. This might happen. He's just caught 3 seconds in that lap, so that's something to keep an eye on as well. So we've got 2 Mazdas going at it for P4. We've got Switchback and Lennon going for P6, and Nexus Cats, and onto the podium going for P8.
To be fair, that's a very valid point. Ross's tyre wear has been immaculate.
Yeah.
As he gets a wiggle off. Will pointed out in the chat, he's got very little tyre wear compared to his teammate.
It's been absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant tonight. I'm really impressed with him. I'm impressed with everybody, in fairness.
I mean, I'm not going to say I'm impressed with Connor, just because it's Connor. Just no. Can't do it.
Well, he's 1.6 beyond 1.4, 1.3. Yeah, he's... Oh, this could be close. This could be close. Ross has got a 1 second penalty now, so I think it might be game over for him unless he can...
Is the final lap and Dark Motor's just come out the last corner.
Dark Motor's weaving down the straight. Delighted with his win, and fair play to him because he's absolutely smashed it. As he crosses the line, yeah, and takes the win. Cornelius is going to come home to a very impressive P2, so a win and a P2 tonight. Double podium. Excellent job. PB Racing's going to come home and take P3. I'd say Felice and Ross, they're pushing each other. They're going to go... Oh, this is close. No, I'd say Felice is going to hold it.
Oh, onto the podium and Nexus Cat's contact in the last corner. Aston's in front coming to the line. Oh, Zombie's quit already.
Well, I think he finished 12th. Onto the podium, does get it done. Switchback does beat Lennon as well. Nexus Cats comes home in P9. Nexus Iceman going to round off the grid to put an end to an excellent race. And that is everybody, I believe. Well, what a night that was, hey?
That was some fantastic racing.
Went full Joe Burns on that one. Right, I'm going to quickly save the race replay and save the race results. Wow.
I might have to go for the video for the race results to see where Zombie did finish because he's not in the list.
Yes. Okay, well.
However, for a first night, that was some of the best racing I think I've seen.
Yeah, that was absolutely brilliant. The boys deserve a hell of a lot of credit for that tonight. But no, also, thank you to everybody that watched this evening. That was absolutely excellent. Like I said, we had over 20 people viewing that for large portions of that, and for our debut for a second division Gran Turismo League, I'm extremely pleased. So thank you all very, very much for watching. Thank you, Pagani, for help organising all this, mate. And yeah, if that's anything to go by, then GT1 should be an also epic season as well. And please join us again next week on Thursday for GT2, where we are at, I will tell you where we are. We're at the Blue Moon Speedway for Group 4, which will be epic. And then we are at Catalunya for the Group 3 race. So, yeah, a couple of very exciting races to come. But no, thank you all very, very much for watching tonight. Please join us tomorrow, where FTRL Switchback will be hosting the GT1 races. Like I said, we are at Interlagos St. Croix. And thank you for everybody that was commenting and giving us loads of stuff to chat about. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. So from us, thank you all very much, and we will see you tomorrow.